Yo, what's good, Green Screen Entertainment fans? Your boy is back, and this time I'm going to bring you my review for Solo: A Star Wars Story. Now check this out. You may have heard some rumors behind the scenes that this movie has had issue after issue. It was originally being directed by Phil Lord and Chris Miller, the same two cats that brought us movies like the Lego Movie and 21 Jump Street, but then maybe Lawrence Kasdan, the writer, a guy who wrote movies like Raiders of the Lost Ark, and Return of the Jedi, those are kind of a little bit more serious, a little bit more gritty, a little bit more raw, wasn't happy with what they were doing. So then they brought Ron Howard into the mix, and Ron Howard definitely turned this thing around, and everybody was loving what he was coming up with. So I'm gonna do my best to give y'all a review based on all of them issues, my fandom, and then what I thought of it as a film. Check it out, here we go. As a finished product, I thought that this movie looked really great. I thought that the action was legit. I wasn't really that excited when I heard that they were coming up with Solo: A Star Wars Story, but as soon as I started seeing the trailers and watching everything unfold, I was actually starting to feel the action that I've seen was going to be brought to the big screen. I thought that the acting was great. Alden Ehrenreich, the guy who's playing the legendary Harrison Ford as Han Solo, I thought he did a fantastic job. I was definitely down with that boy Childish Gambino, aka Donald Glover, aka This Is America, coming up hot as Billy Dee Williams, Lando Calrissian. I thought he did a phenomenal job. In fact, I'm actually excited to see a spinoff to that if they ever decide to do something like that, and they could because he's such a popular character. So I thought overall this movie was very entertaining. It was very action-packed. It definitely had some of that gritty action that you saw in like a Rogue One and definitely a Force Awakens. It still had that old school swag and Star Wars feel. I thought they did right by the characters for the most part. Now, while I definitely enjoyed watching this movie thoroughly throughout, to me, at the end of it, I was like, I don't know, I feel like there was something missing. Maybe one of those things missing was a little bit more character development. Remember, this is basically an origin story of one of the most iconic characters in all of cinema, Han Solo. They show you a lot of maybe how he got his name, how he got this weapon, how he met Chewbacca. You expect these things going into the film. The only problem is they kind of spoon feed you the things that you're seeing in a movie that is supposed to be all about these specific things. What I mean by that is this. If you're looking at a movie like, let's take Avengers or Infinity War or a big ensemble piece, even Justice League, as mangled, as muddled as that movie was, you expect some things to be forced in real quick just so the random audience or even fans get to see a certain thing that made the character the way that the character is. In this movie, it's one guy. We're trying to learn about him, and they're spoon feeding you obvious things that they could have allowed to play out a little bit longer or with a little bit more detail and heart and emotion to make you be like, damn, that's how that happened, or damn, that's how that relationship became. I just feel like they didn't really do that, so that could have been something that maybe Ron Howard was trying to fix based off of Lawrence Kasdan's screenplay and script that Lord and Miller weren't putting into practice because supposedly behind the scenes there was a lot of ad-libbing going on. I don't know. Another thing that was on my mind as soon as I left this theater was actually the last Star Wars spinoff, Rogue One. Now, when you're watching Rogue One, you're watching a movie that's gritty, that's raw, action-packed, and had high-ass stakes. We know in this film that Han Solo is not going to die, obviously. But one thing that we do know about this character is that Han Solo is ruthless. When we're first introduced to him in Star Wars, he's in that cantina having that argument about a bounty on his head or some deal gone wrong with this one cat, and he shoots him first. Han Solo is rough and rugged. In this film, it didn't really seem that rough and rugged. So I'm expecting throughout the film for you to build me into how he became that way, and I feel like the film was a little bit too lighthearted when those opportunities came up. Now, another thing that I thought was a bit of a mixed bag, I'm not really sure how to address it, is A, either the predictability of this film, or B, the fan service of this film. What I mean by that is this. Lord and Miller, we know if you've seen any of their movies that they're very wink and the nod to the audience as far as what's going on in their movies. Just think of like 21 Jump Street and all the shit that they did through the first and second film with that. This movie had a lot of that where it's like, we understand Chewbacca's this way. We understand Han Solo's this way, or at least as of what we know of them. And we understand that Lando Calrissian is one of the smoothest, sexiest cats in all of the galaxy. So girls are going to be flocking over him. They kind of play up on that a lot in this film in somewhat of a way that's a little bit more of a wink and a nod versus the legend that is Lando Calrissian. I really wasn't feeling that personally, but that's just me. As far as the predictability in this film, based on where this movie is going, they definitely have a through line that you can see how the character of Han Solo will become so rough, rugged, and an outlaw based on the things that are happening to him in this film. However, it almost seems like they purposely set up these things. Not just this is the story of Han Solo, but purposely set up these obstacles or barriers or tragedies to happen to Han Solo in his life that create this persona of that rugged outlaw that we met in the first Star Wars film. Again, I have to track that back to either writing, directing, or the combination of directors coming in and off of the set. It just didn't work that fully for me. And it was very predictable. That's what I mean by its predictability without being hella entertaining. They didn't give me enough of those scenes to be that entertained, to not look at the predictability of the film, if that makes any sense. I hope that it does. Look, y'all, in the end of the day, my final thoughts are this. As the Star Wars movies have been coming out, we're talking about that Force Awakens, Rogue One, and of course, Last Jedi, they become a lot more grounded in more raw action. Let's say that. Raw action, gritty action, in your face. I mean, a dude getting cut in half by a lightsaber, shit like this. I like that. This movie didn't really give me as much of that as I wanted. I thought this film could have been a bit more of a character study as to why one of the most iconic characters in all of cinema history is so ruthless, is so grimy, talking about just, yo, give me that bag and I'm out. I don't give a fuck, Princess Leia. I'm done with your shit. That's Han Solo. I wanted to see that guy, that ruthless dude on screen. We didn't get him. We got a sweet dude that went through some ups and downs and I don't know what. So other than that, it is a very entertaining film. I'm pretty certain that the general audience is going to love this movie, but us hardcore fans, probably going to be a bit more mixed on that review. Anyways, I hope I gave you a little bit of insight, some knowledge as to if this movie is for you to go check out in the theater. If I did, do me a favor while I got you here, like, subscribe. Your boy, I'm out.